Yo guys, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we're going to talk about how to master stamina type Beyblades. And so if you're someone who's struggling using stamina type Beyblades, in this video we're going to go through the right tips and techniques to help you be a stamina Beyblade master. Okay, so first things first, what makes a Beyblade a stamina type? Beyblades that are stamina types are designed to maintain their spin for as long as possible, wearing down their opponents until they stop spinning. They usually have round, smooth designs that minimize friction and reduce the loss of energy over time. These Beyblades might not have the strongest attacks, but they're built to win battles through outlasting their opponents, which sometimes isn't the most exciting way to win a Bey battle. Now, to master stamina types, you need to understand the key parts that make them tick, so let's break it down. Now, depending on what generation, you may call this the energy layer, the attack ring, the blade. Either way, you want this part to be the most rounded and smoothest part of the Beyblade. This is important because you want to reduce the amount of recoil on your Beyblade. And so for this part, you don't want to have any jagged edges or spikes. You want to keep it as round and smooth as possible. Good examples would be the Phantom Orion metal wheel, where essentially it's just a smooth circle, or from Beyblade X we have the Wizard Rod blade. And so parts like this are perfect for stamina types because it keeps the recoil very low, which means you won't go flying out the stadium. The next part we got to talk about is basically the part that goes in between the top and the bottom of the Beyblade. And I know for different generations this can be many different parts, from a forge disc to a ratchet to a spin gear to a track. And so it's basically any part that goes in between the top and the bottom of the Beyblade. Now, to be honest, this part isn't too important when it comes to making a stamina type Beyblade. However, there are some things to look out for. And one of the main things is that it has to be balanced, ideally in weight. And so again, anything ideally rounded and smooth would work perfectly with this. For example, in Beyblade X, I would probably avoid using the 160 ratchet if you're building a stamina type Beyblade. Because that part has one contact point, it will most likely throw your Beyblade off balance a bit. And so you want to keep it balanced with contact points, and of course most importantly with weight. Now we're going to talk about what probably is the most important part when it comes to building not just a stamina type Beyblade, but any type of Beyblade. And that's the bottom part of the Beyblade. And again, I know in different generations you can call this the performance tip, the bit, the blade base, the driver, but you kind of get the point. And so if you've put together and created a Beyblade that's a stamina type up until you've gone to this part and you've gone and put, I don't know, a rubber flower or something like that, then it's not going to be a good stamina type Beyblade. Now, because this part makes contact with the stadium surface, ideally we want this part to be narrow and have a low friction point. And so anything that's sharp and minimizes the drag on the stadium surface would be absolutely perfect. And also, if you want to take it a step further, anything that's free spinning would be even better. Any type of bearing tip or bearing base would be perfect. Beyblades like Warborg or Phantom Orion have these type of tips, and so that's why they can last longer in the base stadium. Okay, now that we've got the parts down, let's talk about the launch techniques. And the way you launch a stamina type Beyblade can make all the difference. Now, the only best way to approach this is to do a standard straight launch. This will make sure that your Beyblade stays in the center of the stadium, which is where you want to be if you're using a stamina type. Now, of course, we want our launch to be as straight and as stable as possible, and so the best advice I can say is to use a launcher grip. This then allows your launcher to stay straight as you pull the ripcord. Ideally, you don't want to aim to have a really powerful launch. Anything from a moderate launch to a weaker launch will be perfect, because if you have a more powerful launch, it will then throw your stability off, and it can also make you launch at an angle, which is what you don't want to do. And so the key to launching a stamina type Beyblade is to keep your launcher arm straight and focus on stability. If you do launch your Beyblade in a slight angle or slightly off balance, this can cause your Beyblade to have a bit of movement in the stadium. And like we mentioned earlier, stamina type Beyblades tend to have very weak attack power. And so by going on the offensive, you're not really putting yourself in the best position to win the Bey battle. And so keeping that straight and steady launch could be the difference between you winning or losing a match. Now, even though it's a bit obvious, I still think it's important to go over the battle strategy when using a stamina type Beyblade. Now, we know for us to have the best chance of winning, we have to outlast our opponent by prolonging the Bey battle. And so avoiding attacks and being patient is the key. You don't want to get frustrated if your Beyblade is not delivering big hits or if you're not damaging your opponents. Remember, your goal is to keep spinning in the stadium. And so if you can avoid getting knocked off balance and just literally playing the stamina game, then you should be absolutely fine. Now, of course, stamina type's weakness is attack type Beyblades, and because of their low friction with the stadium, they will easily be moved if they are attacked, And so if you can weather that attacking spell, which depending on what attack type Beyblade they're using will probably last around 10 seconds or so, then you should be fine to win the rest of the battle. But no matter what type of Beyblade type you're facing, whether it be an attack type, a defense type, or a balance type Beyblade, you want to stick to your main strengths as a stamina type, because that will give you the best chance of winning the Beyblade battle. And so that's pretty much it when it comes to using and mastering stamina type Beyblades. And so by having a right combination with the right parts, launch techniques and strategies, you can really go far when using a stamina type Beyblade. And so I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.